Hey, Olive, Arlo, and Frank. It's Grandpa coming to you from the living room in Jack's Beach. And we're going to do another First Myth storybook. And today, we're going to do Coyote Dances with a Star. This is a little different than what we've been looking at, which were stories from Greece and Rome. This one is from North American Indian tribes. I don't know which tribes, if it was just one, if it was a bunch of them. But a lot of their life revolved around fire. They were hunters. They would go out and capture bison and elk and kill them, and they would cook the food on the fire, but they would also dry the hides to make them into leather so they could make blankets and garments for themselves. They made all the stuff that they wore out of what was around them. But they had that fire going all day long. And then as it got dark, that was the light that they had. It was the warmth that they had. Some of these tribes lived in very, very cold areas in the winter. There were no snowbirds. They didn't come to Florida. They would have been in a war with the Seminole if they came down here and tried to be snowbirds. So there'd be one person who was the storyteller. And he learned from the storyteller before him all the essential mythology of the tribe, how the earth was created, how people were created, how the tribe was created, where the tribe came from, what the tribe believes in. And they would sit there, no TV or anything like that, and they would listen to the storyteller. They would sing songs, they would ask questions, and then one of those kids would wind up being the new storyteller. When this guy dies, the new guy will take over, and by that time he will have known all the stories so that he can pass it on to the next generation. So this is supposed to go. Oh, here we go. So anyway, we're going to read this story. It's a shame that we can't have this fire crackling the whole time that we're looking at the story. Thank you to relaxingwhitenoise.com for this video. It said you were allowed to borrow from it, so hopefully that's true. Otherwise, YouTube will take this channel down. So, the agenda, it's always the same. We're going to learn how to spell the words. We're going to learn what the words mean. We're going to find the word as we read through the story. And I'm going to read it, and you try to read as many of the words as you can. As I'm reading it, I go slow. So it's not the most interesting reading of the story, but it's so that you can learn the words, so that you can read it and be interested by it. Hopefully my voice will last. And then you want to stop it. This is just one screen the whole story's on, so you can stop it and read the whole story. And you can do that beforehand. That'll change. You know, you're going to do these more than one time. And the first time you do it, you're going to want me to read it first. But then after that, you're probably going to want to try to read it yourself, then listen to me read it, and then you try to read it again. That's the way you'll become a really good reader. And reading is very, very important. And then at the end, we got the pop quiz, the grand pop quiz. So, in Coyote Dances with a Star, the first word is star, which your dopey grandpop didn't think about when he... It would be funny if one word was star, one word was coyote, and another was dances. So, how do you spell star? S-T-A-R, star. And what's a star? It's a heavenly body. That's the stars. The next one is earth. Earth is a tricky one. But once you learn it, you'll remember it all the time. I never go like, earth, earth, what does that start with? Because the way that it looks, it doesn't seem like it would sound like it sounds. Earth is E-A-R-T-H, earth. I don't know why, but this is earth. And what is earth? Earth is our planet. So stars up in the sky, some of them are planets. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, etc., etc. They look like stars, but they're planets. The sun is a star. It's a pretty small star, but it's kind of close to us, so it looks giant in the sky. But anyway, the planet that we live on is called Earth. The next one is ground. So while I'm going back to ground, you tell me how you think that's spelled. Ground. Ound. So, see, our, ground. I wonder if that's the same thing. So, ground. Ground. Yep. Our, ground. O-U. Ground. And what is ground? The surface of the earth is the ground. Oh, well, I hit it by mistake. So now you know it's dance. I'm not going to go through this whole thing again. So dance is D-A-N-C-E. And what does dance mean? Rhythmic movement. Unless I'm dancing, and then it's very, very unrhythmic. It's just hectic movement. So, let's get started. And I need my reading glasses. Coyote, and this is Coyote Dances with a Star. Coyote was very full of himself. Being full of yourself means that you are proud of yourself, but you shouldn't be. You know, that you're conceited. You think you're better than you are. So Coyote was full of himself. He thought he could do anything he liked. One day, he took it into his head that he would like to dance with a star. And there's a show that's on now called Dancing with the Stars. But they're talking about movie stars and TV stars. So these guys are sitting out there listening to this story, and they're underneath the stars. And they're probably listening to coyotes. Oh, there's a coyote out there. Hopefully he doesn't attack our village. And then the storyteller goes, oh, did I ever tell you about when Coyote danced with a star? And everybody goes, no. The kids are going, oh, we can't wait to hear this. So he called to a star, hey, come down here. I want to dance with you. And the star descended gracefully through the sky. And so here's the coyote, and he's looking up at this star. This must be the star here. And this is him dancing with it. They danced and danced till Coyote's legs were tired and his arms ached from hanging onto the star. I want to stop now, he said. Put me down. But he wouldn't wait till the star was close to the earth. He just let go and fell to the ground. Splat! So he's dancing. This is him falling to the ground. Splat. Luckily for Coyote, he had more than one life. So they say that cats have 9 lives. It's not true, but these people believe that animals, sometimes different animals, had multiple lives. It took a while, but one day he was back to normal, and he started looking at stars again. There was one near his lodge. So this tribe was stationary, and they had a lodge there, and the lodge is where they would sleep and eat and stuff like that. But they still, when they had the fire going, they were outside usually. So there was one near his lodge with a beautiful long tail. So it probably wasn't a star, it was a comet. Hey, come down and dance with me, said Coyote. And the star descended. Coyote grabbed hold of the tail, and the star was off again, whirling through the sky. So the star comes down and gets him, but then both stars went up into the sky to dance with him. So here it is. He's got the star. Star's shooting him up into the sky. Somehow he turns gray. I don't know, but he's a different color than he is, and he's brown and all these others, and he's gray in this. But it went too fast. It went so fast, that Coyote started to come apart. And here he is, he's coming apart. Bits of him dropped off and fell to earth. It was a good job. Coyote had more than one life. So If you thought he only had 2 lives, he has at least 3. But this time, when he got back to normal, he had learned his lesson. You win, he said to the great mystery that rules the universe. So that's God. But these tribes didn't believe in the God that we worship. No more dancing with stars. So, let's do the Grandpop quiz for Coyote Dances with a Star. How do you spell star? The same way it's spelled right here, Grandpa. Star, S-T-A-R, star. And what's a star? It's a heavenly body. Next up is Earth. Earth. Spell Earth. E-A-R-T-H. Earth. And what is Earth? That's right, it's the planet we live on. Next up is ground. And remember our little secret, how it ground and hour have a very similar sound in the middle of them. Ground. G-R-O-U-N-D. O-U-O-U. And what is ground? It's the surface of the earth. And the last word is dance. How do you spell dance? D-A-N-C-E. Dance. And what does it mean to dance? Rhythmic movement. So, what is the summary? Tell me just briefly what the story is about. Coyote dances with a star and dies twice, but has more than one life, so he lives. He learns his lesson the second time. And so then he's like, yeah, no more dancing with stars. So the next time you're sitting around a fireplace, look up at the stars and come up with a story. And if you're sitting there with your parents or your friends, tell them a story. Now, nowadays, people tell scary stories when they're sitting around a campfire. It's just the tradition that we have. But you could tell a story about anything. It could be about the stars. It could be the stories about the stars the story about the stars that we just finished called Andromeda. Anyway, peace out. See you next time.